Yeah, I was thinking about finally switching over to one of the main computers I always use, which is XP, over to Windows 7 or Windows 10 or something. I got a couple Windows 7 computers already, but I want to say that a long time ago, talking about when I got out of the Marine Corps, which I didn't know nothing about computers back then when I first got out, but did have a major in accounting and mathematics, and I was always in the top 1% in SATs on mathematics. So I did pick up on a lot on not just the hardware side, but also, the software side and how to set up accounting systems, databases, doing advanced spreadsheets, pivot tables, and all that really quick, faster than people that were sitting in front of the computer for 10 years. Um, but, and at that time, I used to always get the latest, greatest. Pay the top dollar. As a matter of fact, I had NT server in my home at home in the late 90s. They didn't even have this in the office. So usually they use like a workstation or something. And I had NT server, NT workstation, had um, a couple Windows 98 computers, and I was running a RAID mirror set. I also had a Hewlett Packard tape drive, which is like real high end back then. But every time you buy something, it gets outdated, and I started freaking saying, "This is bullcrap." So what I do right now, I usually go on eBay, get a preferred vendor. They get a really good used laptop, and they'll take the processor out, put new heatsink material in there and stuff, and clean it out, and put a new drive in it. And usually it's cheaper, and the thing is, it's clean. It doesn't have all that bloatware on it when you buy them from a store. They throw all this crap in the software in it. It's ridiculous. But the whole thing is a racket. When you look at even Office 95, which is 25 freaking years old right now. For most people, that'll work just fine. As a matter of fact, you can use the open source Star Office, which is actually better than I think Office 2007. I freaking hate those ribbons. As a matter of fact, I didn't even like when XP came out. I used the classic shell to get the old menus back because they get fancy with the graphics and they hide things. I know what they're trying to do is they're trying to get more and more people that never use the computer to use it to make it easier for them. But if you understand most of the aspects, nobody understands everything, but you understand most of the aspects of using the computer in various ways, it's like it's a regression. It's almost like it's the same thing with vehicles too. I mean, I drive a '78 El Camino, an '85 Suzuki 4x4, an '89 Harley, and I got some other newer ones. But those three, I'll keep those forever. There's no computers in them, none of this crap, Um, and actually, I heat my house in the wintertime with it was patented in 1913, a Perfection 1550 heater. A lot of this stuff, it's a gimmick to get you on a bandwidth, on with the freaking roll. It's like all this software really doesn't do that much, and a lot of times when they add some features that are useful, they take away other features that were useful and now they're gone. Let's see. One of the things I used to like was the image viewer that they used to have came with the Windows 98. I think it also came with Windows XP. There was a way to put it on XP, I know that. It was a very fast image viewer. So if you save all these tiny TIFF files, this viewer was quick as all hell. And it worked. It just pulled up nice full screen and everything. You just double click it, boom, there it is, instant. Even on the older stuff from like 15 years ago, it would work really quick. So a lot of times these upgrades are like, it's called job security. And, actually when I looked at the Creator Studio, yeah, you know what? My beef with YouTube is not so much the Creator Studio. My beef with YouTube is that they restrict content. Now, I don't really get on too much political stuff. I didn't talk about, the latest events or anything like that. But, I get pissed off when they freaking slam the South and the Confederacy, and they keep blaming the Confederacy. It's a horrifying freaking thing that they do. The Confederates were not fighting for slavery, and they probably got me demonetized for that. And the ADL freaking accused the Confederates of being Nazis, whereby It was the grandsons of Confederates that fought against the Nazis and died and suffered. Even the grandson of Nathan Bedford Forrest died in a bombing mission over to Germany, bombing the Nazis. And today, the Confederates are getting accused of being Nazis. Talk about freaking... And, if I say anything the other way around, they, demonetize it. Well, now I'm totally demonetized. That's another beef. So I'm thinking, if they have all the bells and whistles and they restrict freedom of speech, not just freedom of speech, they restrict absolute truth. Absolute truth. And I'm like, who the hell needs this crap? So, I look at the upgrades where they're going. It's going to be more like Windows 10. I didn't get. I could have got a bunch of times. I deliberately got Windows 7 because Windows 10, I know it's got 2 operating systems in it. It's the whole thing is just spyware, and everything actually on the net that you do is probably recorded someplace. But I didn't want it. I really didn't want it. And it's like when you upgrade, it's a competition between software and hardware. The software is always trying to make more gimmicks for this and that, so it needs more hardware for that, and then the hardware comes out, and it's an endless game. It's a bunch of bullshit, because actually, most of the time, for what most people do, unless you're talking gaming, which I don't do any gaming, or say it's graphics or something, but let me say this, when I watch a video on BitChute, I I can watch that on XP. It freaking works fine. I have no problem with it. YouTube, I get the yellow bar. This browser is going to be going away soon, and I'm like, well, so I got another Lenovo laptop that's got Windows 7, and I'm going to see if it takes the 8 gigs. It should take 8 gigs. If that works, I'm going to start loading up all my software on it, because the one thing I really hate doing is I got 1.5 million freaking things with software. Let me say it this way: I have 1.5 million special software on this XP computer. Basically, it's and to transfer it over is gonna be a major pain in the ass. Plus a lot of other things. So I never really want. I always used to I used to grab another laptop. When the laptop broke, I'd grab another laptop and take the mirror set off the other drive, throw it in a new laptop. In other words, a good used one, and I keep rolling. Fan broke, I'd fix it, that type of stuff. But and I'll tell you one thing. Back in the day, you probably don't know this, but XP actually had a 64-bit version. And to me, that would have been great, because, I personally hate the new interfaces, and I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to grab more people that just use the common functions, but they bury other things. I personally can't stand, even on Windows 7, the way they bury the programs. I like the older interface. I can't stand the ribbons on the freaking Office. And some computer geek will tell you oh, it just works like that. I'm telling you, they won't be selling products like Classic Shell, or that's free product actually, or the one that changes the ribbons off of Office to like the old style from 2003 back. They wouldn't be changing that stuff. They wouldn't be selling a product like that if there wasn't a demand for it. So a lot of people do hate the ribbons. And to me, it's a big impetus not even to buy freaking Microsoft Office, just get freaking Star Office. Because Star Office, that's free, is actually, it's pretty damn good now. What you really got to learn, though, is how to logically set things up, how to use the formulas, the VLOOKUPs, the logic formulas, how to link things, do certain types of formatting, charts, and also how to make tables and access and link them together, and how to use, actually for a lot of that stuff I haven't done in a long time because I've been out of it for a while, but you got to understand how to actually use the software, because if you took a person that knew how to use the Office 1995, the Microsoft Office 1995 suite, they knew the stuff, they knew all the formulas and everything, and you took a person that had the brand new Windows 10 computer with, I don't know, 2010 or whatever the freaking Microsoft 360, which is a racket. They had that in there, and they didn't, it's like the knowledge. That's why people, I remember when computers were first starting to get in the, like I'd say basically in the early 90s, they were starting to come into their own. There was like emails were like just text, and there was bulletin boards. And Prodigy was in the early 90s. Prodigy was the big internet service provider. Now you probably never even heard of them. Computers were 286s, and Pentium came out in the mid 90s, whatever. Probably I'm saying stuff before some people were born, And but I remember people putting out presentations they did on a computer that looked so pretty that they printed it out and they, whatever, they had it on a PowerPoint presentation or whatever it was. And it was freaking inaccurate information, though. It was wrong. It looked nice. It looked nice. And, that's another point I keep coming across, because the way you present information, and with, you can throw things into media that can actually sway people's opinion to the wrong conclusion. And actually, this is actually a lot of a tool of control and mass manipulation of public opinion in a lot of ways, not just through the social, whatever you call them, the internet service providers and the social media, but anything anybody puts out. Of course, I'm trying to combat the other way too, but it's like it is a freaking racket. It's like an unnecessary racket, and there's one thing I'd say, that this can all disappear in literally less than a heartbeat, literally. If you look at the Carrington event of 1859, I believe it was, which was a solar burst, a solar flare, that actually fried telegraph lines. It actually set fire to the paper on the end of telegraph lines, burned up lines, actual physical metal lines that were carrying a telegraph message. If that happened today, all these computer components would be freaking toast. Nothing would work. And considering that people don't even understand how to use the multiplication or long division, and they can't even freaking add numbers without a calculator, for crying out loud, or do anything like that, let alone find a square root and pi or 3.14159 or whatever times whatever. They can't do any of that stuff. It's amazing. Without computers today, people would be really. You think people were stupid back 150 years ago? Not at all. And if you look at the way they wrote, you can hardly understand the language of some of the more educated people because of the way they wrote, because they're using more lofty words and prose that are outside the vocabulary of today. And this is all due to the computer. It's like all images, impact, and all this kind of crap. And that's really why the upgrades are being driven. It's almost like it's a propaganda brainwashing tool to me. I really don't like, so for me, I'm gonna be working on today, probably working on getting one of these computers that's a Windows 7, start putting some of the software on it, but I'm waiting for the memory to come in. It should take 8 gigs. But if I get another one, I'm going to make sure that it has 16 gigs in it, at least a 2 terabyte drive. I'm not going to get an SSD. And it's upgradable to 32 gigs. And it'll probably have Windows 10, but I don't know. I'm going to probably get some other software for it to freaking secure that crap. They say XP's unsecure. Well, if you buy Windows 10, you're already freaking, you got no security anyway, so that's the way I look at it. I rely on other stuff to secure things, but I actually had a hack in this XP, my operating system, that worked up to April or May of 2019 to give the security patches. So, there was a hack that you could do, and I actually did that for this one, so it wasn't that bad. But right now, I can't find any. The only browser I can find that works with YouTube is MyPal, and it works pretty slow. So I'm gonna have to upgrade. I'm freaking like It's just like I don't want to do it. I mean, to me, this is a 1940 Ford Flathead XP computer. You know, it's a Ford Flathead V8 XP computer, and they're telling me the speed limit now on the interstate is a minimum of 70 miles an hour, and I can't keep up. You know, and I'm like mad about that. I'm like, screw this shit. I mean, really, who the hell cares, man? Who the hell cares? But just like I said, it's job security. They got to find a way to keep selling. Upgrade, update, upgrade, update. You know, I'm actually pretty smart in this stuff. If I wasn't in the Marine Corps for freaking 13 years and I was just doing this stuff, man, I'd be like a super genius because um, within 2 years, you wouldn't believe how fast I got on the ball with this stuff. It was amazing. And even today, even though I'm not out of it, I'll go in a CPA firm like one time a week or something, and people ask me questions about something. And I'll remember it from like 10 years ago or more, how to do something that I wasn't even doing. But you know, that's part of taking all the vitamins and stuff too. But yeah, it's a freaking racket, and I'm really sick of it. And I'll just leave you with this note. And this is pretty. This is why I hope there is a solar flare between now and this time when this happens. There's two big experts have been predicting all the way back the development of computers, and also even prior to computers, there was information systems that were done in a different way, going all the way back to the 1800s. They predict by the year 2029 or 2030, by the latest, that artificial intelligence is going to be stronger or on par, at least on par with the human mind, with creativity, adaptability, learning, everything, the whole 9 yards. Artificial intelligence, which means the guys on the very top might not need us, which will get rid of us. Yeah, that's not a nice thought. This is where this crap is going. That's not too far off. That's only 9, 10 years away. You think I'm bullshitting about that? No, I'm not. It's look it up. Look it up. And it's not by some lightweights. It's I forgot who it was, but it's by some of the best people that know how this is going. And looking how it's going, I could see that. I could see that. Anyway, they might have a hot blonde Swedish robot though that can pretty much be taken care of, and you can program her, so that might be good too. But no fertilization involved there. Anyway, over and out. Have a nice day.